Pretty much from the minute I read the email, the invitation, my first thought was like, I have to text Sasha. And I sent her a message and she was like, no, I haven't really looked much into it. Like the email had just been sent and I was like, how about we like partner up? My name is Angie Scarth-Johnson. I'm from Australia. I'm a rock climber. I live in Barcelona now. I started climbing when I was 7 years old, and the thing I liked the most about climbing was like the problem solving, the independence about it. I was never really into team sports. I really like to be like focused on my own thing, and just also really how it's like there's so many ways you can take climbing, and it's one of those sports that there's almost close to no rules. I mean, outdoor climbing. So that really attracted me to it, and ever since I've just been so attached to it, and I love it. It's my life. We're here at the Vasaska Dam for the Red Bull Dual Ascent. It's like the first of its kind. It's never been done this format and like a race. My first initial thoughts were like, how's it gonna happen? Like, how's it gonna work? How can you race someone on a multi-pitch? I think I've done like 2 multi-pitches in my life, and that was when I first started climbing, so many years ago. Pretty much from the minute I read the email, the invitation, my first thought was like, I have to text Sasha because obviously she's like a legend in multi-pitching and she had just done Ryu, and that was my first thought. I was like, I have to text her, see what she thinks, what her thoughts are. And I sent her a message and she was like, no, I haven't really looked much into it. Like the email had just been sent and I was like, how about we like partner up? I met Sasha many years ago in the Red River Gorge in the States, and we have this photo together. It's like so funny. I'm like this big next to her and now I'm taller than her, and I just kind of remember meeting her, and she's been such like a legend and an inspiration in my life in climbing, and so I thought straight away to ask her to be my partner. And then just like as we learned more and more about how it was going to go out, how it was going to play the game of the multi-pitch, it became really real and nerve-wracking. And when we got here, I think we all had the reaction of like, wow, this is insane, this is massive. I've been traveling the world since I was very young. I kind of learnt that this sense of like home is like a feeling, not really a place. Like home can be a person or a feeling or climbing even. And so I kind of fell in love with just visiting new places, climbing in new places from a very young age. And I knew that Europe was somewhere I wanted to spend a lot of my time because it has, world-class climbing, and it just felt like somewhere I had to be what I wanted to be. So when I was able to, I straight away was like, I really want to like get an apartment in Spain and have that opportunity to live like maybe half of the year there and half in Australia, or just come between, places. And living in Spain allows me to be really close to the rock climbing that I really enjoy. I was trying out for the Olympics, and that was quite a change for me because I was always a rock climber. But when it sort of came out, I feel like every rock climber sort of felt like almost a responsibility to try because it was the first and we didn't know if it was the last. And so it was quite like this pressure with myself, like I should really give it a crack and see if it's something I'm into. And I'd never really spent time gym climbing or competition, so I thought it was a great opportunity to start, like all or nothing, just go for the Olympics out of nowhere. And so I guess I didn't qualify, and I felt like I was constantly thinking about rock, and it was obviously prolonged with COVID. And so when COVID finished, I went straight back out, and my first goal was to do the first 9A for an Australian woman and for myself. And so that was my goal, and that's when I started training, and I did my first 9A Víctimas del Futuro in Margalef when I was 17, and now I'm 18 and I've done 3 since then. No, that one and 3, 2 others. puberty is such a, like, no one really talks about it, but it has such an effect on all athletes because it's such a big change. And a lot of the times it's hard to, like, it's almost like a new person, and you have to adapt to that. And sometimes it doesn't work, and you lose skills and you gain new ones. And that process, I think, stunts a lot of athletes because it's just a normal process and it has to happen. And you can either grow from it or sometimes not, and that's just how it is. More than anything, it's like keeping that psyche the entire time and just like having a plan and knowing where you want to be, what you want to do. I mean, that's always what got me through it. I always had role models growing up, and you don't really know that you are one if you are one, you know, like you just become one for people. But I think more than anything, when someone tells me like, oh, you're an inspiration to me or you're a role model, I almost feel like they're really important to me, that they think that I'm like that to them, that they are interested in what I do and where I come from and what I've achieved. I feel so lucky to be in this space, and I think what's most important for me is that I leave a positive mark. It's a responsibility of everyone now to direct climbing in the right way. I mean, climbing could become a very destructive sport. I mean, it's rock climbing I'm talking about. It's in nature, and these places that you go to are often really untouched. And so I feel like there's a lot of responsibility on us to keep those spaces safe and clean, because really it's our home almost. I never thought I'd even do one 9A, so to think about doing a 9A plus, I think that's not really what I'm looking at right now. It is for sure one of my goals, but I feel like 9A is such a next level thing that I would want to do more of them before I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go on the next step. I also spent a lot of time climbing what I'm comfortable in. I mean, no one wants to climb when they're bad at climbing, but for sure, if I stumbled across a 9A plus that I loved, I would absolutely start going for it. I'd go for it straight away, yeah, for sure.